is solid, but they got to put it all together.
And Josh Norman's overrated.
And if they don't do it, it's going to be Alex Smith's head because he knows better.
He'll get blamed somehow. But Jay Gruden will walk away scot-free somehow. Because he's never won anything as a Washington Redskins head coach. Deadskins head coach. The Washington Deadskins.
All right, the NFLPA released a statement saying Trident creatine has a banned substance that is not listed on the label. They've warned NFL players from taking it. So is that a touchdown or a turnover?
Man, it's a turnover because honestly, you'll just find any reason to bust these cats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's literally...
I can rock with that.
It's the same thing with the whole marijuana situation. Cats who have Crohn's disease, like Central Henderson, he can't take hemp oil or anything like that because it's considered illegal, or he'll test dirty, but it helps cure his debilitating, agonizing pain. But he can't do it because he has Crohn's disease. So, fuck the NFL.
I think with what that whole situation is, like...
He ain't the only one with Crohn's disease either.
You can't go retroactive. Like, are you going to say, oh, these are the people that got busted with it and failed a drug test and now they're good? Like...
Or this is a false positive, or this was just a misunderstanding. Like,
exactly.
No,
we know the NFL is not going to do that, so what's the point?
You're not going to do your due diligence. You're just going to say, oh, well, you tested dirty. It's just like UFC. Actually, no, it's almost, or at least UFC just lets certain guys, like the top earners, like Brock Lesnar, fail drug tests all the time, and he still gets clout. NFL, nope, you failed a drug test. You're a drug addict. You're a criminal. Your legacy as a man is dirtied forever because you failed a fake-ass drug test.
All right, next one, LeVeon Bell.
Speaking of drug tests, just kidding.
He's not worried about his body wearing down, even though he's pretty much taken the past 2 off seasons off to let his body kind of rest. He said he doesn't really compare himself to a lot of other running backs. He also compared himself to LeBron, how LeBron's been able to preserve his career in the 30s. And he basically said he's the one delivering the blow or getting out of contact because of the way he plays and how shifty he is.
Out of bounds, yeah.
And so he doesn't need to miss practices. He's always good to go. He's always able to go full speed because he does take that extra time to rest, and he is very smart with how he plays with his body. So is that a touchdown or a turnover?
Total touchdown for him. He said he does boxing to kind of supplement it. And it's true. Like, dog, you got to get off. Like, you got to not put so much pressure on your joints and just work yourself to the bone all the time. And with him, he's one of the smartest running backs in the league because his vision is so great. So he really doesn't get hit and knocked out that much. There's a couple of times where he got caught, but he really doesn't take a lot of punishment like an Adrian Peterson. He doesn't try to run through guys. He's not the fastest running back. So you know he's not going to run through you. But he also does know how to get down, get out of bounds, and he's smart with his body. So kudos to him for doing what he needs to do, and he's a running back, and he wants to get paid, and he should get paid. So the best ability is availability. So shout out to him for being so available. And Mike Tomlin and nobody else in that offense to say shit. Because guess what? Antonio Brown got his money.
All right, man. The next thing I know you wanted to talk about, these 2 things kind of go hand in hand. Both the...
Being a good father is important to me.
I hate ads.
Shout out to fathers, because that's a whole other rant I could go on. But yeah, shout out to fathers.
All right, bear with me. I got to play through this ad.
So being diagnosed with advanced non-small cell lung cancer made me think of all the things that I
cancer
wanted
while
to...
we're at it.
Usually I load the videos beforehand, but I accidentally closed the tab, so that's my L.
It's not an L. It's all good.
Yeah, KB. So Jameis Winston, basically, he caught a 3-game suspension for a situation in the Uber.
It's officially official?
Yeah, I got an update from Bleacher Report earlier today.
That's bullshit.
He was already expecting it. You know, news broke earlier. He was expecting that a 3-game suspension was going to come down. But basically, a situation in Uber where the Uber driver accused him of basically, to quote our president, grabbing her by the pussy.
Even though other people who were in the car with him said that shit didn't happen at all and that she was blatantly lying.
And he came out and really denied all the allegations and said, she was probably overwhelmed because there were so many people.
Black guys in the car.
Yeah. So, I don't know, KB.
Speaking of black men and white women and accusations.
You want me to just play the clip?
Yeah, let's just play the clip because these two things are twofold, and I've been letting this play
give a
out for
synopsis
3 weeks.
real quick.
So Keith Mumphery, former Michigan State wide receiver, was kicked off the team a couple of years ago. Ended up getting picked in the 5th round, I think, by the Houston Texans. And little did I know, it comes out a couple of weeks ago, he got cut because they found out that he was essentially banned. He got expelled from Michigan State. What happened was, with this video and interview that he'll talk about, he says that he hooked up with this chick on Tinder.
Let's just play it.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, basically he got kicked out of Michigan State because of the situation with the women.
Even though he beat the case the first time, but they didn't, I guess, tell him about the appeal process and her appeal, and for whatever reason, even though everybody said he didn't do anything wrong, he lost the appeal, and he was at like a school golf charity thing, and they expelled him and said he can't come back. And because he's suing Michigan State for that, because the Texans cut him, and then when he tried to go back to school, he can't go back to school because he's expelled from the campus until like 2020. So they pretty much are preventing him from being in the NFL because that's the reason why the Texans cut him, because they didn't want the bad PR. And he can't even go to any other school and get a degree.
But here's the rundown of the whole situation that went down of the alleged incident.
Yeah.
What happened that night?
Courtesy of Fox
She
News.
invited me over to
And
her
I hate
room.
Fox News, but this is...
I actually met her through Tinder. She invited me over to her room. She sent me a few pictures. We talked, and she told me she wanted me to come over
This
when
is
the roommates
Keith,
leave.
by the way.
Keith Mumphery.
I came over. Roommates left. It was just me and her there. As soon as I got in there, she started undressing. So she basically made it known, what she wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So fast forward a little bit, we got to a situation, and the situation was about the condom. I told her that I did not have sex without a condom. So that's when she flipped, and everything just went south. So I basically, told her, like, hey, it's time for me to leave. I don't have time for this. I basically said, I'm an athlete, I'm black, and you're white. And I told her that, and I left. And that was the end of that.
So you never had sexual intercourse with this woman?
No, ma'am, I never did.
Did you peep the Bill Clinton reference?
No,
Fox
I
News
skipped
is
over that part.
petty as shit.
So what do you make of it all, man?
In this Me Too era,
Why are we talking about this?
because it coincides with, obviously besides the racial component, because white women have a history of lying and accusing black men of rape and other things, and it ruins their legacies and they never get that back, and we never actually question the people who do shit like this. And then also athletes who get accused of shit like this, like Brian Banks, never really got his life back. And the chick who accused him of raping her when they were in high school, her mom helped set up the whole thing, and she got like millions of dollars from the Long Beach school system or LA County school system, and never had to pay back because she's on county aid, living off the system. And this is obviously a turnover because we never want to talk about this side of sexual assault. Because more times than not, it's not as cut and dry as the parties involved say it is. And I, by no means, am saying most women are lying. But I am saying most of the time, when you find out what happened, it's really just a matter of, in this case, it's blatant. Like, he didn't want to have sex, so it's just it's not even buyer's remorse. It's literally someone has the power to make an accusation that can hurt you because you didn't do what they wanted you to do. And I find that shit really utterly disgusting. And we always want to talk about accusing people who did something wrong, and this ties back into the XXXTentacion thing. It's always, well, what did the guy do? we always ask, well, what was the male's part? How is this all his fault? But we never say, okay, well, what role did the woman play in it? And that's not an accusatory thing. That's just saying what side did both people play in it. We always assume it's always the guy's fault.
I think
no matter what happens. And in this case,
I think it's part of how we condition our women to kind of feel like objects of men's desire, and so when situations go wrong, it flips, and it's like, okay, well, what did this man do to you? Versus realizing that it takes two parties to tango, and I think that's why.
If you're on Tinder, you're trying to fuck. Let's not.
No, don't say that. That's not
okay,
true.
That's a separate situation.
That's a whole. But I'm saying, a whole separate situation. It's a way too. Big
I'm only talking about this situation, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's just context and filler what you were saying.
Yeah, that's fucked up. You shouldn't say that because you're on a dating app. You're trying to fuck. You realize you just said that, right?
No, but I'm saying they were in college.
Like you.
I'm saying in this situation. Did I say in general? No. I'm just saying in this particular situation, they were about to do the do. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. People jump to conclusions, but
anyways, like I'm saying, so I think it's important. It's important of like, yes, men should know better, and they should know to get consent, and they should know to not put themselves in a situation like this with the women they barely know, especially if you're an athlete and you have something to lose. But at the same time, we also got to teach our women to, yes, say no, and to, yes, make sure that their man asks for consent. But at the same time, we also got to hold them accountable, and I think that's what you always talk about is, just holding them accountable of like, if you lie, you should face consequences, and because otherwise this shit's gonna keep happening to men, and specifically black men.
Because Jamie Foxx got accused of hitting color. Like the whole news with Jamie Foxx, he's gonna play Spawn, and then like a day later, oh yeah, he slaps a woman in the face with his penis, like in the 90s or some shit, and I'm just like, really, like. Every day there's a new accusation about a black man, but I don't see any of these white dudes going to jail.
Nah, there's well, yeah, but they're not going to jail because they're millionaires and they have lots of lawyers. No, but R. Kelly's not in jail either. Neither is Jamie Foxx.
R. Kelly's a different thing, but we don't even know.
Just finally went.
We don't even know he might.
It's a money thing.
We don't even.
It's a money.
Nah, because regular dudes get it. I just told you Brian Banks. No one knew who the hell Brian Banks was at the time. Like, yeah, he was a big high school football star, but I'm saying. In terms of just a black man being accused of a sexual crime?
I'm saying in terms of not going to jail, it's a money thing.
Well, yeah. If you got money in California, you ain't going to jail.
Yeah.
Unless you're really fucked up. But my thing is, when it comes to this, and it's a black person, it's always an accusation. It's always, bam, okay, they just did this. They just won an Oscar. Oh, well, yeah, they did something inappropriate at a house party 17 years ago. And it always comes up, and it's like, yo, we can't keep throwing dirt.
I think you're seeing it through that lens.
No,
but
it happens.
It's not just. It's not. It's really the whole entertainment industry.
Oh yeah. Aside from that, but I'm just saying I've noticed, like, anytime it's a black dude accused of something, the narrative is like it's the guilt. They're guilty until proven innocent. You get what I mean? There's a guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, but that's my issue with society in general. We just rush to. We don't ever actually want the facts. We just assume because some shit may have happened or the outcome of something, we don't go back and look at, well, what happened,
I get what you're saying. Role. You're only innocent until proven guilty when it's convenient, when you want to apply that standard.
Or you're white.
It's not a universal thing that people apply to.
Yeah, it's twofold. It's a racial issue, and it's just everyone wants to accuse people of shit, and no one wants to have any actual humanity, and no one actually wants to get down to the truth. And everybody just says, oh, because I believe in these issues, I'm going to paint everything with a broad brush. And then even in my case,
I was going to say, I was going to say, like, you mean literally your case right now that you're saying?
I'm just saying, even I've had to dial back. Like, I always question my beliefs. Like, just because I know what I grew up on is different what somebody else grew up on. I grew up
I think the other element...
You just have to keep... I feel like you have to honestly question things. And in this case, will this dude Mumphery ever get justice? Maybe not ever.
Well, I think...
It's not even a big national story.
Well, even what you were saying before, I think the thing is, especially with social media, is they're becoming essentially echo chambers of what you already know and what you believe because of these algorithms that are